Hi everyone, you mess with the melon, you get the seeds here! The internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for a review of the new Weeknd EP, My Dear Melancholy. The Weeknd, if you didn't already know, is this huge, gigantic, internationally known alternative R&B vision from the mind of singer and songwriter Abel Tesfaye, who began making waves much earlier this decade with a trio of mixtapes that created a ripple effect, a sea change in the R&B scene that we are still feeling the force of today, regardless of how I personally feel about a lot of the material on these projects. Did love Echoes of Silence, though. Did love that. But Abel's music, his commercial releases since then, in my opinion, have been kind of inconsistent, bulky, a little all over the place, or at least in the case of Kissland, super one-dimensional and unadventurous, almost kind of sucking out that risk factor in the experimentation of his earlier tapes. Beauty Behind the Madness was just super inconsistent to me, but still had some moments and some fantastic singles like Can't Feel My Face. Love that track. And while I didn't really love his latest Starboy either, I did get the sense on that record that he was taking a lot of risks, pulling out all the stops, pushing himself outside of his comfort zone, trying different musical styles. While not every risk on this album goes over well, and it is a really bulky and just bloated album, it does come with fantastic songs such as the title track with Daft Punk. Which brings us to this new EP, which at the end of the day I feel like is one of Abel's safest releases since Kissland. Pretty much every sound and every song on this record feels to me almost like we've heard Abel do it before. Just this severe sense of deja vu across 6 tracks, 20 or so minutes. The song Call Out My Name, while it does have some passionate vocal highs, it kind of has a vibe and a swing to it similar to that of Earned It off of the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack, at least to me. Maybe the instrumentation isn't quite as ritzy, but I feel almost as if Abel is kind of painting himself into a corner vocally on this track. The song Try Me is barely even worth acknowledging, not just because the try me refrain is really obnoxious, but also that the post-production, the effects on this track leave the song feeling so washed out you could barely even engage with it. The song Wasted Times puts Abel over this very fashionable, somewhat bougie, very European dance beat. It's definitely new for him, not something we hear him sing over every day, but does it do wonders for his style? Not necessarily. The 2 tracks featuring production from Gesaffelstein I hoped would provide a little bit of a breakup between the other tracks, maybe just a different direction or something, but honestly, they do no such thing. I mean, the song Hurt You, which I do like, it does kind of have a groovy, slow, moody, nocturnal instrumental behind it. Feels almost as if I'm listening to The Weeknd try to write another song over an instrumental that vibes very similarly to that of the Starboy instrumental. There are even a few lyrical moments on this track that are some of Abel's worst, namely this point in the song where he is singing about not wanting to be between someone's heart, but between someone's legs, which makes no sense. How do you be between someone's heart? I mean, if you're gonna tell us the story that you've told us a million times over, that you're this bad boy Lothario who loves him and leaves him, and you're not romantic, and you come in the night and you're druggy and you treat your lovers badly. I mean, at least try to use some more interesting and sensible language to describe the tale. Maybe the most lyrically compelling moment on the entire EP is the closing track, Privilege, which, while it doesn't have a whole lot of musical structure to it, it feels kind of like a motif. It's one of the shorter cuts on here. Does give some intimate details of Abel kind of realizing, hey, maybe this relationship that I'm in is kind of toxic. It's bad for me. I gotta cut myself out of here, or this is just like a negative thing for me to be involved with. I've taken 2 red pills to take away the blues. I've come to realize, like, I'm woke on how bad this relationship is, and I'm gonna fuck the pain away. Overall on this EP, I'm just feeling kind of indifferent toward it. I mean, this is some of Abel's most unadventurous material yet. However, I'm not really reading into that too deeply as far as what he's going to be doing on his next project. Really, what this feels like is just a series of somewhat passable, just good enough to want to release tracks that could have fit snugly into any number of records that Abel has released years ago, but maybe were just redundant or not unique enough to sort of throw onto the fire. And the reason I feel this way is that these songs don't really do much of anything different, and if Abel has set a tone for anything across his entire discography, it's that with each record, he does make an attempt to challenge himself and push into different musical territory. This EP unfortunately does not do that. However, I think hardcore Weeknd fans who sort of just love his sound the way that it is, don't want it to change, don't want him to switch things up too much, will see a lot to like here. But for someone like me who's looking for him to maybe do something a little bit more novel, or at least like right up to the standards that you've set for yourself in the past, because honestly, like as far as lyrics, as far as the tunes on this thing, I feel like he's kind of sold himself short a little bit. I'm feeling a light to decent 5 on this thing. Transition, have you given this EP a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You are the best. You are the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. And that's gonna be it. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, The Weeknd, forever.